Well, good evening. I wasn't going to do any kind of video on this. It's kind of outside our normal subject matter, but it's become a little bit maybe interesting and maybe it'll help somebody out. So, we had an IKEA desk in Mrs. Katz's room, her office, whatever, craft room, a sewing desk. And it's from IKEA. It's called a MICKE, MICKE, and it's about 8 inches too long. So I'll show you what I've discovered.
I'm going back to the place I ran from. Palm trees, broken roads, desert dust bowl sun, where the billman will call you almost every week. Which bills to pay today, what's left in the fridge to eat. Where stars frame the night, born out a train, just close enough to give hope, but too far to reach.
So there it is, and that's where the leg attaches on the, I guess, the right-hand side. And so I cut 8 inches off, and I was left with that. It's basically corrugated cardboard inside with just a little bit of a particle board frame. And so that leaves, these pins here are going to go here to hold the leg in its new location, but there's nothing to attach to. I've pushed the cardboard kind of back in here a bit, and basically here's what I'm going to do to take care of this. I hope it works. This is just a random piece of plywood veneered MDF that the kitchen renovators brought over. They actually, looks like the really small trim. They would tape it on here and stain it in place, and then they shipped it in this too so that it'd be, it wouldn't get damaged. I've cut it roughly to the length I need, and I'm gonna rip it 1 inch wide, because that's the thickness between those two panels, 25 millimeters probably, because it's Swedish, but we're gonna call it 1 inch because no reason. I do need some kind of a chicken stick because I like my fingers. Okay, somehow that came out quite a bit too wide. What on earth? Why did that move? Totally moved. Suppose we can run this one through again. I don't like it, but we'll do it. So now this fits snugly between the panels. There is a bit of a brace here, so we're just going to mark to avoid that. because just because. Okay. And then a couple of those. That one didn't go all the way. I'm hoping this works. I'm gonna, actually, you know, I should test it first. I'm gonna test it on a side piece. Side piece. Oh, wow. That's gonna work perfectly. All right, this is the piece I want. Wow, okay, that, nice. Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna just set it on here while it's cooling off. So it'll cool off flat. And we'll want to pull off. I'm thinking to attach this, I'm gonna use this Gorilla Construction adhesive. I used it to attach the aluminum, there goes the furnace. The aluminum trim to my my workbench is in here, and it's held up so far, so I think this will work well for this. Just gonna get it on there and then use this to spread it out. And that should be adequate for our purposes anyway. And then we'll We've managed to make this board a little bit wider in all of this, but we're not exactly going for old world craftsmanship here. This is, you know, this is mechanics doing woodwork, so it's gonna be better than buying a new desk. At least I think so. That construction adhesive is supposed to cure for 24 hours. I don't think we're gonna wait that long, but we'll wait a little bit. I've laid out the holes that I'm gonna drill to match this. First, I'm gonna start with small pilot holes, and then I'll drill these out to match, and hopefully everything will go okay. And in terms of marking these holes, I've marked them relative to each other, starting from one side rather than from either end, just in case. You want to avoid that, because if you get inaccurate measurements from each side, the holes on the leg are pre-drilled, so we want to match that as close as we can. Of course, when you got pipe that you put in for. We bought this second hand, and whoever put this thing together, they really did a number on these. They almost turned them into Robertson. I do not like buying used IKEA furniture. Ooh, that's the one. 15/64 and 3/16 on those ones. Those are the ones that those screws are going into. All right. This is my new shop beer fridge that Mama Cat wants me to use. I don't like it. It's like only a few months old, and it's not almond colored. Maybe I'll have to paint it. Anyway, this is only kind of the first step, because we still have one more thing to do. This is interesting. This is a brace slash shelf type thing that goes under here, and now it's too long. So I'm quite literally just going to chop it down and was about to give up on this idea, and then I found my 5/8 Forstner bit. These are 15 millimeter. I don't have a 15 millimeter bit. Maybe I could find one on Amazon or something, but I want to get this done tonight. And 5/8 is 16 millimeters, so we really are not very much oversized. The hole in the end is near as can be to 5/16, or in Sweden, 8 millimeters, and Canada for that matter. This drill bit with this point is almost certain to poke through the back. You know what? It's the back. I don't care. If you do care, don't use a bit like this. I suppose they probably use one of those end mill kind of bits. Then you'd probably want to use a drill press. Actually, I kind of almost should use a drill press, but we're here now. I've laid out the holes, and let's just go. I forgot to measure the depth. Let's make a little gauge. We're getting close, actually. That'll work for me. This wood is about 5/8 thick, so the holes are 5/16, aka 8 millimeters center below the surface. So that's what we're gonna go for. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna be smart about it. Drill pilots. Oh boy, I think it's assembly time. I cleaned everything up, thought I was done with drilling holes, and then in the end of this smaller piece, I realized that I hadn't drilled the holes out for the little, what do they call it, a twist lock, turn lock, fastener, whatever, and the peg and so on. So I had to do that. And it took a little longer because I've really been trying to clean up after myself. I've been doing house renovations, and that means that, you do something in the house and then the tools all get chucked in a bucket of some kind and hauled out here and dumped off. So, trying to avoid that. At any rate, I think we can put this together. It has not been 24 hours. It's been a beer and a half. So the way this is kind of assembled is, I think you're supposed to assemble it on the ground, all the legs and everything, and then put the top on. But I've got it upside down already, so I'm gonna do it my way. Oh, I see a problem here. You know what? it's not that big a problem. This piece, if you look on this end, it's cut short, and that gives you access to this fastener. On this end, I did not do that, and so I have no access to this fastener. And you know how much I care about that? That's right. This goes this way. No. Did we cut the wrong end off this? Let me think here. Kind of. Only if this goes like this now. That's not right. Measured it and cut it in place. Did this sit this way before? No, it definitely sat that way. Can't go the other way. Okay, well, in that case, I'm just going to drill 3 more holes for those dowels. I'm really not sure how I managed to do this, but where there's a will, there's a way. And I guess I had the will. Fits perfectly, just like I meant to all along. Whatever. Ah. Drawer support. Because we've shortened it, we're taking this drawer out because I'm not shortening a drawer. We've seen how well this has gone. Let's not press our luck. That attaches there. This is probably the part where the little IKEA man has a friend to help him. Oh my God. Perfect. That worked out. Awesome. That one. All right. Great. Now we're going to put the other leg on. It looks a little different. Still much the same though. I'm just gonna okay, what's wrong here? Something's wrong. Very wrong. Because I measured these pieces as if the leg wasn't there, but the leg is there. I need to shorten these again. How did I manage that? Okay. Okay. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to remove the width of this leg from this, and then I'll be back. And we're back. I had to cut this much off of these three pieces, and what that means is because of where these holes were, in order to re-drill those holes and the hole for these to come in, it would have to be like, would have to start there kind of and kind of be there. I don't know. It's just wouldn't really work out, I think. So despite all that, everything else that we've done so far is true. If you're doing this yourself, just don't do what I did and measure things correctly, and you'll be fine. You'll have no problems. You can do all this, just, do it right. So now, because I have just cut these off, and I mean, if you want to save a lot of time, honestly, you could do this too. We have to take out these 4, whatever these screws are called, and this dowel. Because somebody has wrecked them so badly, I get to use pliers to do it. At least this one. You see that? That's brutal. Come on. Not that hard to get the right tool, especially when it's just a Phillips. IKEA even sells them. I'm going to drill myself small pilot holes in each of these from the inside out so that I know where to drive my fastener when we assemble it. So it'll kind of go into the same places that they were, just further because we need them to be long. Try and do this in such a way as to not damage other things. Not that at this point I really care anymore. Come on. think it's okay. I was feeling pretty pleased with myself. I thought that was pretty slick using the original IKEA hardware, and then I shot myself in the foot. So we've gone from, producing something that was going to be pretty good to something that is maybe just adequate. It's good enough. It's fit to purpose. I'm going to bring it inside, and then I'll come back out here, work on some other stuff that I actually know what I'm doing. Thanks for coming along as we did this. I hope you learned something, both, some tricks, what to do, and some things, what maybe not to do. Just measure properly and you'll be fine. Don't measure like I did and do it all wrong. And then we still adapted and overcame. We still got to the end. So I hope that none of that discouraged you from coming out to your garage or your basement or your workshop or even your driveway or your living room. Who cares? Get in there, take something apart, fix it, put it back together, make it fit your life better instead of going out. I mean, we didn't have to go out and buy another desk. So to me, that's a win. And that's all I can ask for. So thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, keep it in the litter box. Cheers.